Good evening, Brian. It's Tuesday, so I wanted to respond to your previous video in tonight's vlog. The first part in your video, you talked about how you have really enjoyed going to the gym lately, and I gotta say, it's the same here. We both have been getting good about it the last few weeks and have been going pretty regularly, and have been working out, and it's just a great thing. As you know, I've run for a while, so I'm kind of used to having a regular exercise routine. And I'm used to the feeling after a workout of like, oh man, I'm full of energy and I feel great, and all of those positive things that you've mentioned that I've mentioned as well. And those are just even more apparent now that I'm doing more full body stuff instead of just focusing on running. I've really enjoyed going to the gym, and I always, sometimes I don't want to go before I go. I'm like, oh, I don't really feel like going to the gym. It's going to be a long process, whatever, but without fail, pretty much every time I go, I have a decent time while I'm there and I feel great afterwards. I also just like how it's providing another structure, another schedule in my life. I haven't really started to see too many results yet because it's only been a few weeks, but I'm looking forward to the results of just feeling more physically fit and having better overall fitness and all of that. So I'm with you there. I really think it's been great so far. Second thing I want to respond to, Brian, is that you mentioned that you have been getting more into Norse-ish mythology and reading some book series related to that and etc. That's awesome. I'm a huge fan of reading. I love books, and I'm always excited to see other people getting more into it. So I'm excited to hear you talk about possibly getting an e-reader to read more books and getting into series and stuff like that. That's really cool. Specifically about Norse mythology, I don't know of any specific resources necessarily. Because it is an older mythological belief system, it's generally something that you can take in school sometimes. And I remember a class in middle or high school that focused on various sets of mythologies: Roman, Greek, Norse, Egyptian, that kind of thing. So I have a basic understanding of the general players in Norse mythology and the overarching stories and stuff like that. But because it is older and more of that set-up mythology, it sort of crosses over into the realm of fantasy in terms of a genre sometimes. So it's a little bit easier to learn more about than other more obscure sets of mythologies or beliefs because it has sort of crossed over and is part of the overall cultural fantasy vocabulary in the same way that Egyptian gods have, or other older mythological beliefs like the Greek gods, for example. That point being that it would be pretty easy for you to find lots of various fiction things or fantasy stories that use Norse mythology as the basis for the fantasy story, as well as other things that are more like textbooks and informational readings about Norse mythology. So it's definitely there's a lot of resources out there. It's a rich thing to get into and to learn more about, so I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to find some things that are great related to that. If you want to check out Ed McKay's, that may be a good place to go to find some things, just as a possibility. They generally have some good stuff there as well. And finally, Brian, you mentioned that you are thinking about going back to school to major in graphic design. And I think that's fantastic. In general, I'm a big fan of college and post-secondary education. I had a great time at Forsyth Tech myself, and I really think that it was a worthwhile thing. Plus, you never know what kind of incidental things you'll learn that will totally enrich your life and change the way that things happen that you would never have thought to take. For example, I went to Forsyth Tech. I never thought about being a sign language interpreter there before, and then I saw that they had a sign language class, and I took it because it sounded fun and because I had a friend that had taken it somewhere else, and I fell in love and transferred, and that's my career now as a sign language interpreter. So you never know what an impact all the incidental things are going to have on your life. So I think that's really awesome. As you know, Brian, I have friends that are graphic design majors, so I'd be happy to put you in touch with them and see if they have any thoughts, and I'll respond more to that in a future vlog, I'm sure, but right now, I'm running out of time, so I just want to say, that's awesome, man. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you, and I'm really excited for you. Have a good night, Brian.